Hi everybody, thank you for joining me on my latest video. It's Beetle Dave calling to you from Derby in the UK. Now the other day I did do an unboxing of this Paul McCartney and Wings Band on the Run 50th anniversary half-speed master. And this is the one that's got the underdubbed mixes on it as well. There's a few things. I was asked to do on a review of this by quite a few people. I mean, when I did the unboxing, I did say if anybody wants me to do a review of it after I've listened to it, I will. Lots of people gone to it, says, yes Dave, please do an honest review of it. And if you want honesty, I will give you honesty. I will make this clear right from the start. I love this box set. I do love this box set. When I did my unboxing video, I'd watched no other unboxing videos of this album whatsoever. And so when I came to listen to it, I was listening to it with sort of like a fresh set of ears and a fresh set of eyes as well, if that makes sense. I always thought the Band on the Runs that I've got, I mean I've got a few, quite a few copies of, as you probably guess, sounded fantastic. Right, when I put this one on, this new 180 gram half-speed remaster, it actually blew me away. It really did blow me away. I still can't really understand how they've made this album sound so good. You can tell it's still the original album, don't get me wrong, but this puts all the rest of the albums, Paul McCartney albums, Band on the Runs, to shame. And I've got some really, really nice copies, don't get me wrong. This just comes, it sounds so fresh and so clear. The strange bit for me is that you've got Helen Wheels on it. And the first time I heard it, it's sort of like, it didn't sound right. Helen Wheels being on this album, because in the UK, Helen Wheels was never on this album, but in America, and I think a few other countries it was. And it didn't seem right, but I've listened to this about 3 times now, and now I think it does sound that it should be on this album. I mean, it sounds like it, I mean, it was recorded roughly the same time anyway, wasn't it? And where they've actually put it, because they've put it between No Words and Picasso's last words, Drink to Me, and it just sort of like fit. So this album I've got no problem with whatsoever. Like I say, I'm not being ignorant or anything when I say I don't really understand what half-speed master is. I know it's done on a lathe that does it at half the speed of a normal lathe and things like that, and I suppose if you've got really, really high-end hi-fi, you know, you can probably hear differences on this than what I can on my system. And obviously everybody's ears are different as well, aren't they? But I actually thought this sounded fantastic. The only criticism I have got, and it's not to do with the records, it's to do with this box. Very, very flimsy, right? And I don't know if anybody else has found this out, but right at the bottom, if you put your hand in like that, right at the bottom, there's like a lip. And I'm not actually quite sure what that lip's for. Well, I am, because it's where that has been tucked in. Or stuck together. Right, if you don't get your records in properly, it will start to damage the sleeves. And this has started to catch it just there, look, can you see? There, look, it started to damage the sleeve already. That's after 4 plays. So what's it going to be like after 10 plays or 50 plays? You know, this is the thing, I'm surprised these weren't laminated, these covers. That's only a mild criticism. It doesn't affect enjoyment of playing the record or anything, does it? So, you know, like I say, that is just a mild criticism. That's more to do with the construction of the box, not to do with the record. This record sounds amazing. If you can't afford to go out and buy this box set, because I do know there's been a few people criticising how much it's cost. Well, to me, I don't think this has actually cost that much, because I paid £57 for my box. That was with the post and packaging, and I got it from paulmccartney.com, and it came within 5 days of me ordering it, so that's not too bad. You can get this album on its own, this half-speed master. It is being sold separately, and I think that's around the £30 mark. So if you think, well, you've got 2 LPs here, so that's £60, and then you've got this little slipcase, which probably isn't going to be worth a hell of a lot of money, but you know, it's still nice to have. then I don't think it's as, you know, if you work it out that way, then it's like the going mate. Yeah, so that sounds absolutely fantastic. Got no problem with it, and you know, it puts all the rest of my band on the runs to shame in one way. And I've got some cracking sounding bands on the run. I can't sort of like get it into my head how they've made a great album sound even better, you know, than what we used to. And once you get used to Helen Wheels being on here, it is even a better album than it ever was in the UK, I think. I've never really understand why Helen Wheels wasn't on this when it was released in the UK. When I bought this box set, by the way, I didn't really buy it for this. I actually bought it for the second LP, which is the what do they call it? Undubbed. Or underdubbed. First time I listened to this, I was a little bit surprised. I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting them to be more like demo versions and things like that, but they're not. They are rough mixes. Some of them have got slight overdubs on them, but nothing, you know, nothing like what the finished record is. So the first time I played this, I didn't really know what to make of it. I liked it, don't get me wrong, I did like it, and some of the songs sound completely different to the songs on the original album, and some of them are very, very similar in a lot of ways. We did have a bit of a teaser, didn't we, from Paul? Certain music streaming sites you could actually stream the Band on the Run underdubbed mix for that, you know, for that song. I don't know if that's the same version that's on here though, to be honest, because the Band on the Run on here, you can actually tell it's a completely different version to the released version. His vocals are slightly different. His bass guitar is very, very high in the mix. Well, that's what it appeared to be on my system when I was playing it. And I think some of the lyrics are slightly different, or some of the lyrics are in a different like order. Very, very enjoyable though. Very, very enjoyable. Mnemonia. See, these actually say, they don't say underdub mixes when you look at them. They actually all say rough mix. Mnemonia, to be honest, sounds just like the version on the finished album to me. Talking of finished albums, I don't know what they've done to this, to the Band on the Run album, but when I was listening to 1985, the last track on the original album, I can swear that I heard an oboe being played, which I've never ever heard before. Whether it, and I know I hadn't imagined it because I've listened to this album 4 times now, both the albums 4 times, and I don't know if they slightly remixed it or brought something up in the mix or what, but I've never ever heard that oboe before. So it's worth getting the Band on the Run album just for that, to me. You know, I wasn't expecting it to sound, I knew it was going to sound good, but I didn't expect to be hearing something that I hadn't heard before. No Words on here is absolutely fantastic on the underdubbed mix, and I would say that is every bit as good as the version that is on the official album. If not, it could even be slightly better. I don't know if it's because the underdubbed album is in a slightly different running order to the official album, so I think it might be just because it's placed in a different place. I don't know, but it does sound really, really nice. Jet, the rough mix, is again a very, very good version of it. I think, if I remember rightly, he fluffs the lyrics up on that. I could be wrong. There's one where he fluffs the lyrics up. Bluebird, again, I couldn't really tell a lot of difference between that and the version that is on Band on the Run. And they are very, very similar timings as well. So side 2 of the underdubbed mixes starts off with Mrs. Vanderbilt. That is an absolutely fantastic version. Again, I would say that is on par with the version that's on the official album. It is slightly different, but there is only very, very slight differences. 1985 on the underdub mix is an absolutely fantastic version of it. It is, you could actually class it as a instrumental. No proper vocals in it whatsoever. There's some backing vocals in some of the places, but no proper vocals from Paul on it whatsoever. And when you hear it, you can, do you know, without the vocals, you can actually realise what a lovely actual song it is, melody wise and all that lot. Picasso's last words, "Drink to Me," again isn't to my ears very much different to the released version. And I think the standout track on the underdub mix is "Let Me Roll It." Now I always thought "Let Me Roll It" was a highlight, or one of the highlights of the original Band on the Run album. It's Paul trying to imitate John in a lot of ways, isn't it? The music on it is very reminiscent of the Plastic Ono Band on things like Give Peace a Chance, Cold Turkey and things like that, especially the guitar work. On this version, on the underdub mix, his vocals are more raw, and he actually does sound a lot more like John on that than the original version, which he sounds a lot like John on anyway. But if that makes sense, he sounds even more like John on this version. I don't really know what I was expecting. This is what I'm saying. I don't really know what I was expecting. These versions are all fantastic versions, by the way. I can't criticise any of them. Every one of those deserves to be on this underdubbed album. The one thing I'm surprised about, though, is they didn't do an underdubbed version of Hell on Wheels, because then you would have been able to compare one album directly with the other album. But you can't, because there's no underdub mix of Hell on Wheels, and I'm sure they could have found an alternative mix or something like that to put on it, just to even it out. So you got 10 songs on the first album, 10 songs on the second album. Because the running order is different on the underdubbed album, some of the songs actually seem to fit better in this alternate running order than they do in the original album, if that makes sense. So excuse me 1 second, folks. But yeah, overall, I love it. I knew I'd like it, don't get me wrong, I did know I'd like it. And because we'd had that teaser off Paul with the Band on the Run underdubbed version that you could stream for the past, was it a couple of weeks, into off certain streaming sites, I was sort of like prepared for what these underdubbed versions are like, and it has surprised me how good some of them are. It has really, really surprised me. Is it worth the money? Yeah, I'd say it's worth the money. But like I say, I was lucky because I'd still got some money left for Christmas that my mum and my sister gave me. So basically I just paid for the postage and packaging on this, if you think about it. You can get the Band on the Run album on its own. I don't think you can get the underdubbed mixed version on its own. So it's up to you, isn't it? You do get this lovely slipcase with it, which, is this going to be a collector's item? I don't know, because the only thing that's concerning me is every time I put my records in it, it is starting to crease the album cover. Again, it's only a very, very slight criticism. It's just the way this has been made, and you don't play this, do you? And you don't play the cover, I suppose. But you know, it's just little things like that, which I think they could have done a little bit better. Since I did my video, by the way, on the unboxing of this, I have seen a couple other videos, and on one of them a chap was reviewing this and he was like saying it's a load of crap, don't buy it. Which, you know, he is, everybody's got their own opinion, haven't they? But I think if you can afford to buy it and you want it, you're going to buy it anyway, aren't you? And it doesn't matter what I say or anybody else says. If you haven't got the money or you don't want it, you're not going to buy it. Simple, isn't it? You know, that, yes, if I couldn't have afforded to get this box set, I think I would have gone out and bought that on its own anyway. That is worth having just to compare the differences. Some of them are slight, some of them are a bit more obvious. And to be honest, if you can't afford this, see what I mean? So how they're sticking out, and it's bloody horrible to try and get these in, because you've got to do it at an angle. Unless that's just my box, unless my box is knackered. And after the day I've had today, it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. Yeah, it's just on that. It's at the bottom there somewhere. There's like a lip. So if you don't get them in that, it's going to completely ruin those covers, which I don't really want it to do. Yeah, as I was saying, yeah, £57, £58 is a lot of money compared to some people. I know it is. I know, you know, there's credit crunch and people are struggling to, you know, heat the houses and things. Just excuse me a second. But you can get this on CD, and you can buy it as a double CD. So you get the band on the run and you get the underdubbed mixes. But the band on the run that you get in that isn't this band on the run, because you can't do a half-speed master of a CD apparently, or so I've been told. So I don't know what version it is you're going to get on that, but I think that's about a lot less than this, less than half the price of this, to be honest, or more than, yeah, less than half the price of this. So that's another way you could do it. Obviously you can just stream them as well if you wanted to stream them, or just go out and buy the Band on the Run album. I'm glad I've got this. I really am glad I've got it. I don't want to sound negative when I'm doing this, but you've asked for an honest review and you're getting one, and that's it. You know, I'm sure that you'd rather me say what I think, and you've got to remember these are just my opinions. And when you're reviewing an album or a single, you know, to a lot of extent it will depend on your hi-fi setup, and everybody here is different. So yeah, I think this is a wonderful addition to my Beatles collection. You know, if you've got the money, I would recommend you buy this. If you haven't, you could always wait, and you never know, it might come down in price, you know, over the next few months. But having said that, I went on eBay this morning, and there was a certain person in a certain country that was asking £112 for this, right? And then they wanted £25 postage and packaging for it. Disgusting, absolutely disgusting. You know, I think it's about time eBay cracked down on things like that. You know, people buying something and then just because it's got Paul McCartney's name on it, or John Lennon's name, or it's something that's slightly different, you know, they're buying it for £50 odd and then saying, oh, I can make double money on that. I mean, look at them, that Paul McCartney singles box set. You seen how much they're going for now? Over £2,000. Yeah, £2,000. But yeah, if you can afford this, I would highly recommend you go out and buy it. That's all I can say. If you want to check out other videos, I'm not sure how many's done a review of them. Most of the ones I've watched have actually been unboxing videos, and the one where the bloke moaned about it, he did actually admit that he hadn't actually listened to the album, he'd listened to the CD, but he was telling you not to bother buying the album because he got both but he hadn't played the album. Strange, isn't it? So yes, I hope you're all well and dandy. Thank you everybody for supporting my channel, leaving me likes and leaving me comments. If you've just come across this little channel, by the way, where have you been? You know, we've been going for over 2 years now, and you like what you see and you want to subscribe, if you hit the button down here, it will say subscription or subscribe, and then if you hit the bell next to it, you'll get notifications for when I'm doing other videos. Everybody's welcome here, whether you're old, young, you know, doesn't matter. You know, the Beatles are for everybody, aren't they? Or, you know, the outer group of the Beatles, shall we say, because in this case it's not the Beatles, it's Paul McCartney and Wings, isn't it? But you'd still class it as part of your Beatles collection, wouldn't you? Well, I will. So that's going to be it. Like I say, please stay safe. I hope you've all enjoyed this video. By the way, if you have gone out and bought this album, the one I've got here, the double album, not the CDs. I'm not bothered about the CDs because, like I say, that's a slightly different mix of the band on the one anyway, isn't it? If you've got this and you've played it, you tell me what you think of it. I think actually it is a nice addition to add to your collection, and that's it. I can't really be any further than that. I'm not endorsed by any company. You know, I bought this out of my own money and things like that. You know, I haven't been sent it. It'd be nice if record companies did send me records. But you know, you've had an honest review, which I said I'd do, and I can't really praise it enough. Yes, they could have done things slightly different. This slipcase could have been a bit better produced, and it probably would have been nice to have a little pamphlet in it, just telling you more about the songs, like when they were recorded and who played what on them and things like that. But that is just like nitpicking really, isn't it? I think for the money, this is really, really nice. I really do. So yeah, check it out. If you're still unsure about getting it and you're a bit like that, stream some of the songs. That's all I'll say. Stream some of the songs. Not off the main album, off the underdub mix one. They are the ones that I think people are going to be talking about the most. You know, because a lot of us have never heard these versions before, but they have made Band on the Run, the album, sound even greater than it was before. And if that isn't praise, I don't know what it is. So until the next time, folks, peace, love and happiness to you all. Stay safe. Remember, you are the Beating Beatle Dave, and I love you all. I do mean that honestly. So until the next time, I'm out of here.